Continuing on with our lecture on structs, I'd like to introduce now the idea of arrays. And with this, I'm going to add a couple of things. I'm going to show you how to pass arrays as to a function or a subroutine. So please look at my previous video on basic structs to get an idea of what I'm doing here. I'm going to define my struct up here, the canine structs, one we've used before. I've also got a constant up here, max records of 5. We're going to actually create an array. Add to this, I'm going to have two functions that read in the array and print the array. Now, I'm going to show you two ways to pass it in, and they're both identical. One is with a pointer, and you should know pointers before you get to this point, and the other one is using empty brackets, which tells an array. Now, both of these are identical. So you can use either one. We got our struct up here in our main, above our main area in our global area, along with our prototypes. I always put them in this order: the constants first, then the structs, and then the prototypes. So here in our main routine, we're going to define the array canine structs. We'll call it my dogs, and it'll create 5 records. Then we're going to call read array. We're going to pass my dogs in with the number of records, and we're going to read in the number of arrays. And then immediately we're going to print them out, and I'm just going to say print array, and we'll pass in my dogs and then max records also, and we're going to print that out. Let's go down here and look at reading in the array. I'm going to say please enter in the data for 5 dogs. It'll be 5 at this time, and we'll read them in. We'll read in the name, the breed, the age, and the weight, and put those in its appropriate place. Now, when you're doing an array of structures, the format is this: is the name of the array itself, followed by the index of it, and then the index appears right before the period right there. You'll see that. So, and then we're going to print them out. Let's try this. Let's make sure it works. So we're going to build it. Make sure we have no syntax errors. I don't think so. That looks pretty good. And now we're going to run it, and we're going to enter in 5 dogs. Okay, so let's go up here, and we're going to say Poncho. He is an English sitter. He is 9 years old. We'll say 30 pounds, and then we're going to enter another one. We'll say Ringo. We'll say it's a mutt. He's 3 years old, and we'll say 35 pounds. Django. This is Saint Bernard, and he is 5 years old, weighs 100 pounds. And let's see, Bill. And breed is let's see, Westy. He is 5 years old and 22 pounds. And then Olive is a Shih Tzu. Age is 7 and weight is 12 pounds. And here we have it. So we're printing out. So we can see how we printed out our arrays. Now again, just to go back over this a little bit, let me pull this down and show you. Accessing the array elements themselves, as this line of code right here is important. It is the name of the array, which is CSA in the subroutine, followed by the index of it that tells us which record to get to, and then period. This tells us which item within that particular record we want to access. So this is how you do arrays in structures, fixed arrays. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to do pointers in arrays, which is very interesting. That's our next video, and we'll go on to that right now.